Hi everyone, it's Miss Naima again. So welcome back to another class key text video from the tablet book of The Secret Diary of Jane Penny. So let's get reading again. And we are on page 104 now. Litton House don't run itself and we still have our duties to perform. I reckon rich people must think a fire lights and clean itself. Who do you think cleans out all the soot and ash without getting it on the carpet? Who do you think blackens the surround and polishes brass? Who do you think lugs the coal up from the cellar in a coal scuttle? And who do you think lights it aflame? The same person what has to clean up the massive drawing room fire and fill it with kindling and logs and control the dampers to get just the right amount of flame to get it burning and keep it burning not too fast and not too slow. How's else? Little people? No, me and the likes of me, that's who, and that's just one of my duties. There's all the dusting, sweeping, carpet beating, and when I was emptying a vase the other day, I found three china doggies inside it and had to find the rightful places to return them to. I'm up at 5 in the morning and in bed at 10 at night, and most of that time the master and mistress never even see us. We're invisible, but not this morning. Girl, says a voice, just as I've finished making up the fire. It's a voice I've heard in the distance, muffled through walls, on many an occasion, but never this close, and now it's summoning me. Yes, sir, I says, doing a curtsy to Mr. Kirby Trot. Am I supposed to look him directly in the eye or down at the ground? Why can't I remember? Why? My head's in all of a spin. He's the master. I look at him. He's most handsomely dressed and his hair is all neat and he has a fine moustache. And he smells fresh and clean. What's your name? He says. Jane Penny, sir, I says. Well, Jane Penny, he says, do you know Nellie Skittles, the chambermaid? Course I does, I begins to say, and I quickly correct myself. I mean, yes, sir, and is she an honest girl? Says the master. He's really studying me as we talk. He's looking me over and talking me all in, like he's a detective too. I've only been here a couple of months, sir, I says, and Nellie was one of the friendliest from the start, and a really hard worker too. She'd never I stops myself again. The words never express an opinion spring to mind. Go on, says Mr. Kirbytrot. What were you going to say? I'm not sure it's me place to say, sir, I say, looking down at my feet. It is not only your place, but your duty, if I tell you to, he says. His voice is sort of velvety. His words sound like they're spoken like words are supposed to be spoken. I was going to say that Nellie would never steal nothing, let alone a valuable necklace, sir. Does she have family? He asked. I wasn't sure how to answer that. If I said yes, would he think it all right to fire her, because she'd have a home to go to? Or if I said no, would he think it all right to fire her because there'd be no family to disgrace? And why did I get the feeling that he cared either way? Because of his questions, I suppose. Because he could simplify the lot of us if he wanted. She, as a mother and one living brother, sir, I says, the others died in the mills. There's a little number 66 over there, so let's have a look what that means. So, cotton mills were noisy, dangerous places with machine looms. Many children worked in them because they were small enough to crawl under the looms to repair broken threads. In 1833, 1844, and 1847, Factory Acts were passed creating laws about the age at which children could be employed and how many hours they could work in a day. These were often ignored by the rich mill owners. Children cost less to pay than adults. Okay. She sends her mother her wages. Thank you, Jane Penny, said Mr. Kirbytrot, and no one of this little conversation. I curtsied again. No, sir, I says. I mean, yes, sir, I says. And I have told no one except you, Plump, and you, dear diary, and your both family. The only other break from a normal day was when Master William came charging through the dining room. When I were polishing the table, I heard a giggle first, and he came pounding through the room, dressed like a miniature version of a little gentleman, with the happiest grin on his face and shiny black shoes on his feet. He stopped dead. He did, when he saw me, like you weren't expecting to see no one. Then, with a real serious expression on his tiny face, he sucked his finger, points it at me, and says, Lady! That was the only time in my life I've been called a lady, and it was by a little gentleman. And it was by a little gentleman, too. I found myself smiling. I was wondering whether to tell him that I ain't no lady, when Nanny Brown comes running in, panting. Master William giggles again and is out of the room like shot from a cannon. It was most comical, and I found me smile getting even bigger as I turned my attention back to buffing that table to a shine. Okay, so that's all your reading done for today's session. And if you want, you can pause and rewind the video to read at your own pace again. So now I want you to write down these two questions just to check how well you've read the text together with me. So question number one is, what job was Jane doing when Mr. Kirbytrot walked into the room and called out to her? You will find your answer on page 107. And question number two is, what were some of the questions Mr. Kirbytrot had asked Jane about Nellie, the chambermaid? And you will find your answers on these two pages. So, um, sorry, these three pages. So from pages 108 to 110, you will find your answer to question number two. So, what were some of the questions Mr. Kirbytrot had asked Jane about Nellie the chambermaid? Please remember to put your answers on Tapestry so I can have a look at it. And thank you very much for listening today, and good luck for answering your questions. I hope to see you all on the next class text video. Bye.